Hey guys, Jasper here from the Uberclockers, and welcome to our... I'm just gonna call it a budget intel build. I'll explain later. Okay guys, so let me explain why I said it was a budget intel build, not a $500 or $400. Well, technically it's $500, but it's only if you're talking about US dollars, and you might be saying, but Jasper, US dollars are the only monies, aren't they? Big surprise, they're not. There's another one, and they're called Danish krona. I hope I pronounced that right. I looked up videos on how to pronounce that, but please correct me in the comments if I said that wrong, and please also tell me if I was right. But anyway, yeah. So what happened was this guy requested the guy who requested this video, he or she requested a $500 budget intel build. Okay. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty easy. And then it turns out they were ordering from Denmark. And in Denmark, PC part prices are high. And I also have to use those Danish websites for PC parts. And I don't even understand the language, so I had to use like Google Translate a lot. So yeah, I kind of had to take the prices from there in Danish krona and then put them into Google just has a built-in currency thing, and so basically I had to convert krona to US dollars like continuously, and then but I did it. I believe this build is like a little around $520, so it's not exactly 500. Sorry about that if you're the guy who requested this, but I tried my best and I got it as close to 500 as I could without dropping the performance that much. And $20 isn't that much over 500. Please tell me if that's too much though, because then I can always revise it and send something to you. But anyway, yeah, and the parts might be in a kind of a weird you know, I normally do CPU first and stuff because that's how it appears on PC Part Picker, but in this case, I can't use PC Part Picker because PC Part Picker doesn't support Denmark. So, basically, here's the deal. I'll say all the prices in Danish krona, and then I'll also, yeah, this is gonna, but in the description, right, I'll also have a link to a version of this, but with American pricing. So, yeah, why don't we get started? Okay, so starting out, we have the graphics card. That's our thing that we're starting out with because it's first on the list. And so, we have the Radeon R7 370 4GB double dissipation edition from GFX. Normally I don't really choose GFX for video cards, but this was the cheapest R7 370 and they were all 4GB models, so hey, why not? Double dissipation, basically it's got two fans, okay? And yeah, this is a solid card. The R7 370 is a solid card for the price. And in this build, well, in Danish krona, I hope I said that right, please correct me if I'm wrong, this is 1,363.45 Danish krona. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But anyway, let's move on to the motherboard. Alright, so for the motherboard, I didn't actually cut and go back. It's kind of funny, I just like pretended like I did. But anyway, we have the socket 1150. It literally says socket 1150. Anyway, the MSI H81M P33 motherboard, and we're using a Haswell processor with this, but you can update the BIOS. There's this thing where all the H81 boards, I think, only need a BIOS update in order to support Haswell chips, and some of them already have that BIOS installed. So, if you're planning on building this, which I know someone is, I think you need to use a flash drive or something. There's probably a tutorial. There is a tutorial online. There's a tutorial online for everything, but you've got to flash it a new BIOS, a new version of the BIOS, and then it'll be able to support the processor, the Haswell processor that's in this. So, yeah, that's for the motherboard. It's 344.45 Danish krone. Okay, so let's move on to the memory. There's nothing really special about the memory. This is like the cheapest 8 gig kit I could find. It's 2 4 gig sticks of DDR3 1333 megahertz G.Skill Ripjaws series RAM for 363.45 Danish krone. Nothing else said. I mean, it's pretty basic, and it's not even 1600 megahertz, but that stuff was like too much in my mind when I looked at the prices. Anyway, let's move. Anyway, and that's such a weird voice. Anyway, let's move on to the storage. All right. So for the storage, I didn't even like. Yeah. Anyway, for the storage, we have a 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Blue hard drive, and I think this is the same one that I've been recommending in just about every single one of my builds, except for the budget one, or that might not even be there yet. Yeah. You know, uploading YouTube videos. You never know which ones you've uploaded, but I think I uploaded that one like a few weeks ago anyway. But this is the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1 terabyte hard drive. It's more expensive than some other hard drives, but I trust Western Digital's hard drives, and you don't really want to lose your stuff if you're doing a build like this, because then you've got to pay more money, and I'd rather not pay more money and have like a little investment at the beginning. I mean, it's always nice to invest in an SSD because those things don't fail. I mean, I think there have been a few cases, but this is a budget build. You're not going to spend money on a SSD, so this is like the most reliable hard drive you can get anyway. I mean, like, yeah. But anyway, let's move on to Zems. Oh yeah, I forgot to say the. I think I didn't say the. I'm not sure if I said the price for this thing. Well, anyway, it's 419.45 Danish krone. If I said that already, then yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the processor. And for the processor, we have the Pentium G3258. You probably heard of this thing. It's a dual-core processor. And some games, I'm not going to say a lot of, but some games aren't going to work on a dual-core processor, such as, I think, Far Cry 4. But there's hacks that you can use. Little, you know, things that you can bypass. You can use to bypass this. Yeah. This is a beast of a dual core processor. It's not a quad core, it's a dual core. It's a budget Intel build, and you know, the PC part prices in Denmark are high. I feel bad for you guys who live in Denmark. Anyway, 553.45 Danish krone. Let's move on to the power supply. And when I was looking at the power supply, I really didn't want to find one of those like shady gray units, so I went with the 350 watt Corsair VS350 power supply. And this is not anything special. It's not modular 80 plus gold, but it's 310.45 Danish krone and should get the job done. Alright, so for the case, we have the, I believe this is the, oh my gosh. I can't even find the name of this thing. It is the something, oh, there we go. Okay, this is the Spire Diablo case, and it's like it's just a really cheap case, and it should work, and I hope the graphics card fits in. I did some research, and I believe it'll fit, but yeah, if it doesn't, I'm really sorry. I did all I could to but they don't have like a GPU clearance number. Anyway, yeah, that's 182 krona. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. This build, remember, goes over, I think it's around $510 to $520 in US if you're converting the krona to US dollars. But any lower and you're going to get less performance, and you don't really want that. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Tell me if I pronounce krona wrong. Yeah.